position right. Hi, my name's Pharaoh, and today I am going to continue with the class challenge. Where we left off, we were trying to get a B-class ship. I very quickly dipped into the game earlier today, and I think I did two things. I'll explain them when we get in. I'll show what I did. They're very trivial things, but I just was testing a few things. Not least, I was testing a new camera setup. I was like trying to get a makeshift green screen behind me so that my chair was actually visible. So we'll experiment with that, but unfortunately it means I can't move around as much because I've got a static camera for now while I experiment. So if I drift off of camera, like way off the side somewhere, then let me know, because I need to keep an eye on that, and I'm not always looking at myself when I'm streaming. I'm often looking at the game. But apart from that, I'm just going to go straight into it. And then later on, the discussion point will be one small thing you would change.
5 says.
Absolutely. Cash, cash, cash. Hi, Gravnor, and hi, Alphys. Good to see both of you.
Alphys195 says. Hi, Pharaoh Euclid.
I'm glad to see the little stars are showing up properly now.
Alphys195 says. Morning, Gravnaut.
One of the things I need to remember is that this is actually a permadeath save. I tend to forget once you start to get a little bit of progress. So, things that we did off stream, very trivial. What I did is I went to
says. Hey, Alphys.
Where is it? I went to my egg base, which I set up just because at some point I might want to do cooking.
Axon Ignition.
Hi, Ignition.
Good evening, everyone.
Got a pirate hat on by the look of it. Or are they dog bones?
Gravnaut says. Hey, Ignition.
So I placed an oxygen harvester here as well as in my other base. Mainly because I decided that because I was struggling to keep up with my carbon use, I thought I would come back here because this is also a trade post, and I would use one of my other tips that I would say for getting hold of carbon early game, rather than going around and shooting loads of trees, is to use trading post. That's quite a nice quite a nice ship. Right, so I would go here and I would go to trade with the guys here, and usually they will offer at least one of the what I would call the biome specific plants.
Alphys195 says. Had a slight disaster. I was playing the Pharaoh challenge, had a good start. Was on a planet and my really old dog had to get off the sofa and I rushed to help him. Forgot to switch to photo.
Oh dear me.
Alphys195 says. And I died.
Yep. Walking away from the game when you're not in the right mode is not a good idea. Bear in mind, if you're in multiplayer in photo mode, things continue. But I'm not sure if damage continues. I've never tried that.
Says, rest in peace, traveler.
I guess I should also set up a... Actually, I might be able to do it up here if it's within reach. Let's see if I can build a teleporter over here. I might be able to. But it'll be undercover when I arrive. Have I even got the resources for a teleporter? I need some carbon nanotubes. Anyway, so what I was doing, I was going to do that.
Nice and easy way to get cash early on.
Because it burns carbon.
Corvette parts.
Yes, Corvette parts are definitely a good way of getting cash early on. I might use that method, actually. I've got a bit of activated indium that I can sell, of course. Actually, I should sell that now. And actually, no, I'll wait until I've got my teleporter, because I left an autonomous mining unit on the activated indium, so I can potentially go and get a bit more. Let's put that there. Put down a biofuel reactor. Use one condensed carbon will do us. That should last us a little while. Yeah, so let's go and have a look, see how that out.
95 says, rude of you to put the teleporter right in the middle there.
It's not in the middle, look, it's tucked away. Nobody's going to get in, it's not going to get in the way of any of these Vy'keen lads. You're okay with it, aren't you, Vy'keen lad?
Alphas 195 says,
Look, he's completely ignoring me.
consideration for the local denizens.
Actually, I think he's reporting me. Look, he's got his tablet out. It's clearly a violation. So anyway, we'll go to the AI base. I seem to remember this being a terrible place, so I need to be very careful here. I might need to set up a building around it. But a bit of activated indium never did the cash flow any harm. Well, have I got the resources to carry on build another one apart from the carbon nanotubes? I do. So
Alphas 195 says, growl of her be damned, this guy is taking too many liberties.
I mean, interlopers, eh? What can they do? Right, I think I might need to at least give myself a bit of a roof here. It might put me on top of that roof, but at least I've got somewhere I can shelter if there's an ordinary storm. I just got to keep an eye out for tornadoes on this planet. But yeah, that should give me a little bit of protection. No more carbon. Right. Did I replenish this? Yes, I did. So I might as well go straight back to eggs. Sell my activated indium, get a bit of cash. Work out how much I'm going to need to buy a decent B-class Explorer. I wish it would land on one of the landing pads when you come in. It's very odd. Should work out where you are. Not likely to see any explorers here. Well, there's one here actually. Is that a large one? 2919, but it's A class. Would have to be A class. But that does suggest there might be a decent one here if I hang around. It's not the best place to be hanging around for explorers though. I wasn't expecting a discussion. I knew he wouldn't like being sympathised with, but I've got no time for him today. Offer a hug. You'll really love that. Corporal Abkulket pats their weapon, looking misty-eyed. We lack the common tongue for complex dialogue, but happy to share, they deliver their story via a methodical sequence of grunts, gestures, and holograms. It is slow but surprisingly engaging. They describe what must be centuries of war against the Sentinels. Countless comrades have fallen, but while each unique Viking life is irreplaceable, the machines seem infinite, unaffected by individual losses. Now, in their twilight years, Corporal Abkuket is seizing their final chance to find and destroy the source of the Sentinel force. They are only machines and must be assembled somewhere. They must be. The elderly Viking sighs. Their gruffness softens as they re-evaluate the Viking crowd around us. Each life precious. They thank me for listening and give me something to further my own journey, which is presumably the multi-tool thing. No, it isn't. Just a Viking dagger. Is it a little bit later on when I get the multi-tool thing? I don't want him. Must be triggered about 2 or 3 in, I guess. Press dialogue help. Hi, King Lich. Good to see you. Should be able to get him. Okay, so we don't have friendship, so I usually go for whatever their specialism is, which is aggression. And the reason I do this is because the friendship and the basic ones like aggression symbols run out quicker, so you can kind of get all of those. I don't know why, it's just the way I think. So aggression symbol. Visited him. Right, so continue with my carbon policy. I'll buy some selenium off of him. I really don't want to hang around here though, it's an extreme storm. So I'm getting plenty of carbon this way. So I shouldn't have to go around shooting things. Right, back to... no, I want Korvax really, don't I? That's black market. Promising, that should do us. I want to sell. Oh yeah, there's all of this meat I want to sell. That's the one I wanted to keep. It should be in here, though. Yeah, surprisingly large amount of money for meat early on, I think. That can go there. At least one of them can go there. Right, will I get any ships turn up? Or was this the place where I was before? Where oh, it looks like somebody's coming in. It's a shuttle though. Ah, a nice large explorer. Still asymmetric, but it's a C. I like the silver though. The model's nice. I might need to reload a couple of times if I don't get anything else and see if I can get that in a B. See what they're trading while I'm waiting. Multitask. I don't think I need any wiring looms at the moment. Pyrite will be handy. Nothing else at the moment. What's this? Hauler. B 3517, but that's going to be a lot of money. 24 million. There's no way I can afford that. Let's see what my hand in value is though. What's that about? 7 million, 6 million. Well, it's probably that. Probably what it says there. 6,450,000. This will be a small, I'm guessing. 2414. Let's just see. I think the hand in value is the same, whatever ship. I would imagine so. Yeah. 45.26. That would be nice, but no, I'm not going to have the money. Shuttle, C-class. Anybody know what the percentage chance of B-class is in a tier 2-star economy?
Axon Ignition says, I doubt the update's coming in this week.
Oh, it's definitely not coming in this week. Might not even come in next week. But I've noticed that some of the, like when I was covering the press for Light No Fire, I noticed that there's a little bit of press around for No Man's Sky as well. It's just not about the update. B40, that's very nice. Yeah, I think I might go and get a load of cash, then I can get a really decent ship. Although I don't really want a hauler. So if there's a bit of press around, I wonder if the press outlets know that it's coming quite soon, because they'd have a release date, I would imagine.
B-class in T2 economy 35%.
So I should be seeing a few. I mean, I am seeing a few. I just haven't seen an Explorer at B-class. I might reload, but I would imagine the ships have respawned now. Probably in a separate wave. I don't want a shuttle, I want an Explorer. Something coming. There's another shuttle and another shuttle. And there are 7 shuttles, I guess. unless one of them's been replaced with a solar. Oh, that's probably a small. Yes, it is. At least it's symmetrical. This is where it might be worth just going down to a trading post, I guess. Be a little bit faster to reload if I need to. I don't want to come here. This is the activated Indian place. More likely to be problematic planets. I quite like the ship. Right, we're staying here. Just will avoid that planet. So that's standard. It's fiery. It's got salvageable scrap if we want to use that. Get a bit of cash like we were talking about. Bit slow, this ship. Wrong, doesn't it? I'm going to have a look here, then I'm going to go to the trading post. Ground, underwater, 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 underwater. I can get some nanites here. There's no problematic underground creatures. What's the weather like? Dangerously hot. That's probably okay. Proto-Gek here. Doesn't want to look at me. Alien dinosaurs.
Alphas195 says. Brooding Protoject / Axon Ignition says. Incidentally.
Oh yeah, good point. I really
Chatting screen.
I really shouldn't be in the just chatting screen at this stage, should I? Thanks for reminding me. I don't mind if I'm just doing little bits and pieces, but if I'm actively roaming planets, it doesn't make any sense. Nothing else here.
Alphas195 says. A funny thing I figured was if you spawn on a salvageable scrap planet and collect a Corvette part, then you get a marker to the space station before you are meant to find it as per the quest line.
Yes, I've noticed this as well. And when I was doing the get a Corvette immediately thing. So it will be 8273. 8273. Not somewhere I want to go, and not something I really want to visit. Did it transfer into this inventory instead? Yes, it did. So that's a bit of cash we've got. And probably need to land to find another one. So let's get the trade route out of the way. Not trade route, you know what I mean. It's in there, isn't it? I mean, as you saw, in what I tend to do is I tend to just look for the line convergence in space, like that. And you can spot the space station that way quite easily. But you can be directed directly to it as soon as you get a Corvette part. I might not have enough cash at the moment to to actually buy the ship I quite like the look of. But I don't mind coming back later, necessarily. Getting more explorers here immediately. B2818. Let's see how much that would cost. Not offer to trade. Negotiate price. Exchange. Oh, that's reasonable. I'm not going to. I can swap a couple of things, but I can't swap in any of the modules. I haven't got anything else, have I? I suppose I've got that I can swap out. It's got not quite as much. It's possibly another couple might take it up a little bit of cost, but we'll keep an eye out. I think we'll be okay for money, but especially once we've sold. These and that, which is always a nice one to sell. And that was quite expensive. So they often say you can't buy carbon, but this way you kind of can buy carbon.
Grafnort says that GTT has exosuit charts for sale.
I didn't spot it. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, nice. I could get nearly all of those. I don't need 58 though, do I? Mind you, it's a lot of money. I'm going to have to go and get some more cash. But it's well worth it, I think. Because I could also fill out my well spotted Grafnort. Wasn't even thinking about that.
Are guilds allowed in the challenge?
Yes, but you have to.
Says 2 things. Graph sees 100 miles away. Exotic ship and exosuit chart. Me is saying
Guilds are allowed in the challenge, but you have to give the full donation line. So if it says, say for instance, 3 of something that you can donate, you have to donate all 3 of those. In order to claim any individual thing. So you'll find that things you hand in also get wiped off of the list, just like the things you've claimed get wiped off of the list. So if you want to use a guild multiple times and you don't want to run around and do loads of trading or otherwise replenish it, then it means giving them lots of varied things. 2717.
Alphas195 says, "Boo. You should get all the exosuit charts to donate to the explorers."
Yes, I haven't actually seen the Explorers Guild yet. I've seen mostly. Actually, I should put a beacon here, just so that I've then have to come back. I like this one. It's got. I do believe that there is a kind of pattern to what spawns where. I might be just imagining it. Let's give it a colour. Quite handy, it's quite close. It's also handy that I have got a bit of carbon now. And I've got I've got an awful lot of sodium nitrate. There's my oxygen gone right down the bottom, isn't it? Yep. Back in. Give myself a bit of space in here because I'm going to need a couple. Chart. Have I got enough slots in my normal exosuit? Yes, I have. Now, I wouldn't be upset if they stopped us shooting those from our ships. I feel like it's a bit of an exploit. One I'm prepared to use today. Land as close as we can to the drop pod. The wall of flame coming in. Can't even see where the entrance is. There it is. Sodium nitrate out of my thing yet. I'm going to make at least one more in here, aren't I? That's probably going to be a low value item. That might be okay. That's a little bit of money. I'd like it to stop being stormy. Landed on top of it. But I can't remember. Was this system one of the ones where I didn't go to the anomaly to pick up a? There was at least a couple where I said, "Oh, I need to remember to go to the anomaly to get my exosuit slot." Get some nanites while I'm here. What do you want from me today? No new discoveries. It's obviously want something I haven't got. Have I made any progress since? Yes. Yes, I have visited this one.
Hostile scan detected. Warning. Threat detected. Hostile ships approaching.
Oh, they're shooting here now. It's always a worry.
Received.
There was one more thing. There it is.
Units received.
Oh, they're not shooting here now.
Thermal protection falling.
I almost don't want to spoil myself with a hauler because it will just end up. I'll just end up wanting more and more space. I want something valuable.
Thermal protection falling.
There's something. I really liked that quality of life edition where it sends the icon in the direction so you can more easily find what you've just scanned. I think somebody suggested that to them. So one of the interesting things that I was reading from No Man's Sky interviews, in very recent interviews, was that one of the things Sean was saying was that he still occasionally likes logging into 2016 No Man's Sky, the original game. I wonder if he plays the original game with a few bug fixes, but that's interesting.
Thermal protection falling.
A bit more now. Maybe find one more. I won't be able to get those wherever they are. Curious deposits. Let's see another one nearby. I mean, I would say anybody that wants to play the original 2016 release is probably a bit masochistic, but yeah. There's another one there. 385, and another one there.
No free slots in ship inventory.
Didn't quite time that right.
No free slots in ship inventory.
East. I'm going to go back west again after I've shot this.
Free slots in ship inventory.
Should be another one visible from here somewhere. There it is. Oh no, that's a fossil bed. It's got salvageable scrap and fossils. That's odd. It doesn't say it's got fossils. Go and have a look at that. I wonder if it's a camp. Yes, of course it is. Can I shoot those?
No free slots in ship inventory. Units received. 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 Units received.
I think 13 million will do us for now. No, I didn't. Did I sell the fossil? Maybe I did. Right, back to the trading post, see what we can get. Small hauler, that might be. See anyway. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm getting loads of haulers here. B47. I could afford that now. That would be a lot of space. Oh no, I couldn't afford it yet. No way could I afford that yet. So that's 21, but it's not that much space. That's probably the Explorer I like. Save there. As a fan of asymmetrical ships, I like that style of ship. I'm not sure why that didn't come up automatically, Parminter. I'm not a big fan of asymmetrical ships. There are some asymmetrical ones I don't mind. Hi there, Parmenter. Just good to see you.
Life support power low.
Oops. Let me just check my Oh, perhaps I didn't save it. You're just not on there. I don't know why. Let's put you on there. Why hasn't that allowed me to copy that? All right, I'll put it in manually. Parmenter. Parmenter, 1983. We have an @ sign. Done. Save flow. Okay. Right, we're into the hour now. So my discussion question for today, which I'll go into just chatting in a second, is what is one thing that you would change in No Man's Sky that most people wouldn't even think about, or even if it changed, they probably wouldn't even notice because they'd be too interested in looking at all the shiny things. So if you imagine tomorrow, I mean it's not going to be tomorrow, but imagine tomorrow Cosmos dropped. What's the thing that would make your eyes light up if you read it in the patch notes right at the bottom, that it's something that nobody would really be waiting for apart from you? And let's go to just chatting. I also put this as a question.
I'd like some improvements to setting custom waypoints on planet surfaces. Park
Yeah.
1983 says. Definitely need to think about that.
Let me just see if anybody else has put anything on the website, because I made a post on YouTube. Now they don't often get noticed, posts on YouTube, but it's worth looking.
Brian 9772
There's a few answers there.
I'd want the space stations to always have pilots. They should be as busy as trade posts.
Space stations always have pilots. Yeah, I feel like they used to have more ships coming into space stations than they do nowadays. They do seem to kind of you can get really dead stations. I don't think we used to have really dead stations before. Maybe I'm just looking back with rose-tinted spectacles.
Brian 9772 that's also something that can be annoying to me also.
So Gravnot said he'd like some improvements to setting custom waypoints on planet surfaces, and I have been asking for that for ages. I've even sent Hello Games a direct message about that, like not direct message, a suggestion, because when you're in the game and you're in the discovery screen, anything that you've kind of looked at, you've registered as like finding an area. We have a list, although it gets stuck after 6 and doesn't scroll. I'm sure it used to scroll years ago. It doesn't scroll, and you can't select it and say, take me back here. Why can't we just make that a waypoint that we can access? It makes no sense whatsoever, and I would just love to see that in the patch notes. So I definitely agree with that one. That's one of mine that I had actually forgotten about. Right, let's see if I can get the browser up. Actually, it's a little bit big. Let's So I got a few answers. I put a post exactly the same. I'll read out the post because it's a little bit more specific. So I said, what is one small thing about No Man's Sky that you would like Hello Games to change? The kind of thing that most players wouldn't even notice. That little thing that nags at you as being wrong or could be better. The thing that if you saw it in the patch note, you would punch the air while everyone else was looking at the big shiny things. And I've got a few comments here already. Programmist Music says, showing the planets in a selected star system in the galaxy map in VR. This does work in flat, but not in VR. That would be a pain. I didn't realise that didn't work in VR. Because, yeah, being able to count the planets is like a good quality of life thing. I'd like POIs to be a bit more common. Of course, I'd love to see new ones being added too. This, and also more flora and fauna asset variety. I mean, I'd always want to see more flora and fauna, but I think if they introduce more flora and fauna, I think that would be a bigger thing. That would be one of the highlights in the patch notes. Whereas just making points of interest a little bit more common, even if only on a few planets, could be nice. And they do feel sparse sometimes. I wouldn't want it to be too busy. Certain points of interest do seem a bit sparse though. Changeable UI themes. Spawn the Nomad. Oh, this is separate. Changeable UI themes. Yeah, that could be nice. Haven't even considered that. Spawn, sorry, I didn't read out the name. The first one was Simon2260 and the Mr. FT Media. Changeable UI themes. Spawn the Nomad exocraft while your character's floating in water. You mean automatically? It can be a pain to spawn it, can't it? Because it doesn't like spawning it except really down below, or sometimes you can get it to spawn on the water line. But automatically would be interesting, especially if it was an option. I wouldn't want it to come if you were just in a puddle though. But maybe if it was a certain depth. Good question, and one I thought about. This is Ganmalad. For me, it's things that take... Oh, I'll put that on the screen. That's a bit lower. Oh, I can't get that on the screen easily. Let's push that up there. Good question, one I thought about. For me, it's things that take unnecessary time. It's supremely irritating to me, i.e. place or mission splash screens that get in the way of other actions, unless you hold tab for several seconds. There are ways of getting rid of that. I'll show you. Or being... You might not watch the same thing, but... or I can always answer it later. Or being yanked up into whiteness every time you save on a stationary save. But yes, they got rid of that for ages. I thought they were never going to put it back, and then they fixed it. There was a problem with it. The animation was causing crashes on some systems. So I just assumed when they got rid of it that they would just leave it off. But now it's come back.
83 says, too big of a thing, but I'd like to be able to build corvettes while planetside.
Is that too big of a thing? I mean, it wouldn't be that hard, would it? Just give us a landing pad like we have in the space stations that we can place and land our corvette and build just like we do in the space stations. I think that could be just something that they'd put in a little patch note if they had lots of other things, or it wouldn't be high up on the list. It would be an also at the bottom somewhere. Place or mission, place screen, anything the whiteness or the green chests.
Axon Ignition says, oh yeah. Refine a quantity limit in permadeath, nothing but a time gate.
Yeah, that's an annoying one. I don't mind it being low though. It's very low though.
For me is that they need to go back to the original class distribution of crashed ships. And they should also break the tech and cargo slots on interceptors.
Yep, I agree with both of those. I do feel like, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're exactly the same crash ships, but they really nerfed it. And we've said this many times, that the fact that the interceptors, you can immediately cash them in for huge amounts of money because they're not broken. It's just weird. I don't get it. Okay, being yanked up to the point of green chests where you need to delete rusty metal and then wait for the crate to go through the opening animation, click, click, or ending up rapid fire left clicking to move any text. They've got read more. They might have a few things here. They really have been thinking about this. End up rapid firing left clicking to move any text. Because it takes way too long to roll out, especially for things you've seen dozens or hundreds of times already. I was so glad to learn all the words of the 3 races and be done with it. Yeah, I can get that. Asking everyone in the space station for a word count would take 20 to 30 minutes. Yes, get on with it. Everything's seems artificially slowed, and that seriously frustrates me. The game seems to be trying to force me to treat the game like I'm on a stroll when I have other things to do. Well, I do feel like the game is supposed to be treated like you're on a stroll quite a lot of the time. But that makes me think of one thing I would really like to see. Give us more than one word. Give us more than one word at a time. It's just really frustrating. I don't mind if, like, when you're going to the NPCs in space stations or at trade posts and they only give us one word. But when we go and find a knowledge stone, we've got so many words now. Just give us 10 or something, or give us a random number between 1 and 10. It just takes too long. It's the type of thing that when you are on a new save like this one, you just think, well, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to get all the words. I'm just going to get a few words and see if I can actually use some translators to get a few bits of info. You never think, oh, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn all of the Korvax words. You never, ever think that. So, yeah, I agree with that one. That it's just a time sink for no reason. And I do think some of these animations are a bit old-fashioned now. They don't... like the... as you say, opening the green box, it's always slow. And as I said, I agree totally with the clicking on the navigation thing. It just suddenly going up in the air and back down again. It's too much. Too much stuff. Too slow. Do it the first time maybe and then never do it again. Right, so... Oh yeah, I'm just going to very quickly, I'm going to go into normal and show something that I don't think many people really realise about the mission information. For a start, I mean, this is probably obvious to everybody, but in general, you can... is it general? Or maybe it's not. So it's possibly accessibility. HUD scale. You can change the HUD scale, and I always whack it right down. I like to have it kind of readable in streaming, so I don't go right down to 50. But I always whack it down. 100 is far too big for me. So, but if we put it to 100, so it's like almost the default you would see. I feel that message at the bottom right-hand corner, especially if I go into here, it's just too big and it just takes up too much of your attention. Whereas if I knock it down to 60, it's a good compromise. I'd go to 50 if I was... I feel like that's a lot better, and you probably can't even read that if you're watching on a small screen at home. But the other thing is, if you're using a controller, then the left D-pad, so here on my controller, the left D-pad scrolls through the mission items, and then it puts them off the screen. So you get whatever the first one is, whatever the second one is. There's often a few, and then it takes it off the screen. And if you're on the keyboard, you can do the same with H for HUD. And I feel like this is one that they snuck into the patch notes, and nobody noticed. And so most people don't even know you can do that. And I mention it as often as I can when I'm showing like new game, or if I just done it and I'm pleased that I've been able to do that, because I feel like it was one of the best tiny quality of life things that we've had in this game. And it's an example of the type of thing that did make me kind of punch the air and say, yes, they're finally doing something about those messages. Because on a controller, it's no problem at all to just quickly do that. And then it's off the screen for a while. It's taken a bit of a hit. It's not the nicest of ships, but it is a B class. And it wouldn't cost me very much. It wouldn't cost me anything, in fact. Oh, I'm not in the right save. No wonder. Never mind. I mean, I just went to my normal save to demonstrate that thing, of course. So, let's go back out of that. So, did I miss any? Oh yeah, refine a quantity limit. I didn't really go into it. I wouldn't want it to change to a really high amount, but it does feel a little bit limiting, and I would... One of my small things I'd like to see, and I think people would think of it as quite a big thing, maybe, but I would think of it as a small thing. Just get rid of the portable refiner. Make it like a legacy build part that's just in another menu and it doesn't do anything. We do not need portable refiners anymore. We've got exosuit refiners. Why have a portable one? Makes no sense to me at all. And it would help with stopping duping, because early game you wouldn't be tempted to do that. Do I miss anything else? Planet side, yeah, we talked about that. Finer quantity limit, yes. Yes. I don't. Did that one come up?
Brian.
Oh, it's possibly it was slightly too long.
72 says, another thing I would like is to have no HUD or minimal HUD, a semi-official game mode. Right now the game doesn't work quite right when the HUD is off.
Yeah, I do feel like HUDless mode is just... It's just like nothing. It doesn't work. You can't really... I mean, people do it. but you can't really play the game fully with HUDless mode. It needs a little bit of thought and attention to make it so that the game is actually playable. You're right. I totally agree with that. So if they... Oh, I've just started recording for some reason. Stop that. No, I've just gone into the wrong game mode. So, I mean, we can carry on. People can chip in if they suddenly think of anything that we haven't already discussed, or even just agreeing. But I'm going to go back to the game now. We've had about 25 minutes or so. I like to have these little discussions, and also sometimes I'll turn them into little mini videos so people that aren't watching the stream can kind of chip in and have ideas or chip into the discussion we've had. So don't be surprised if any if you see a video with your comments and this whole discussion. Basically depends if I get around to editing. Why can't I say that word today? Editing it. Okay, so quick mouse. Sorry, I had to do a little while to work out where I was then.
9772 says, by the way, I didn't hear what with.
All the more reason why I should. All the more reason why I should make a video that includes all of these things. Just like turn it into a video and then just send it to Sean. Good point. That'll make me get cracking on actually editing that out and making it a video. B27. See, I don't like the fact that it's making me get a knock on my... What's mine again? 30. Yeah, 30, 24. Ouch. Not paying attention to my life support. Otherwise, that'd be fine. But I know there's that nicer one out there, so I'm going to reload. I could have done that without going down there, couldn't I? I mean, I guess if we were being really strict about the challenge, we could say no reloading is allowed, but I think that would be a bit too strict. Of course, reloading, my life support was still low. B3728 for a fighter. Blimey. You know what? I think I'd prefer a fighter right now than a... Oh, I haven't got my... What I haven't done is... There wasn't much that I could take out of this, though, was there? There was... Take that out of there. Oh, I've got all this stuff. I can't do it right now anyway. Good job I checked. I need to go and put all of my stuff in storage. I suppose I could build it here. haven't got a base computer here. Let's go and put some stuff in storage so we're actually ready to do the trade.
Graphnaught says, I don't consider reloads at trading posts as safe scumming.
I mean, it is kind of, though, isn't it? I mean, I can see why some people don't do it. Well, I don't know if anybody doesn't do it, to be honest. Now it's trying to get me to go to the construction research thing because it wants me to pick up the because I picked up one bone and now it says, oh, you might want to build some skeletons. What was I doing? I was going back to my base. This is one of the small things I would like. I'd like to be able to turn off anomaly-specific missions. I don't need to be told I've got expedition rewards available all the time. I don't need to be told that I've got collecting fossils in here at the moment. And like, sometimes it's tricky to get rid of them because the timing's a bit strange. But I got rid of them all now. But like, it will start randomly telling you you've got Twitch drops. Don't need to know. Maybe tell me once, and then when I've gone off, when I've left the anomaly, never tell me again. And I want this space. I don't mind it telling me that Helios is available because it reminds me to pick up derelict freighter stuff.
Palmerton 1983 says, I'd like to be able to write notes to myself, if that isn't already possible.
I would like that.
Remember some system/planet relevant data between play sessions.
I'd really like that in game. You can do it in Steam. I might try and show you how that works in Steam. Hang on. Exosuit.
Technology recharged.
I can transfer basic things, but I want to protect certain things. I can put that in my... Also, there was a bug, so maybe I don't want to even rely on it. Let's put nearly everything in storage, because I don't really trust it right now. I know there was a bug for a while. I don't know if it's been fixed in all instances. So that should be fine. And then there was something I was going to... I suppose I can store that, but that doesn't really help you. And that was it. Oh no, I can't use that. No, I can use it because it's blueprint, not a module. They're all modules. That's a module. That's a module. That's a module. That's a module. And so is that. So there's nothing else there. Oh, I could have gone back to the anomaly then. available. Yeah, let's see if I can quickly demonstrate that. I have to put full screen on. If I go to that and screen capture, yep, that works. And then just, yep, that's fine. Right. Transition. Okay, can you see the just chatting thing? Just give us a thumbs up if you can. Just theoretically, in Steam, you can write notes. Where are they? Here. So, for instance, the frigate breakpoints are notes that I've got, which are how.
Says,
Thanks, Grabnor.
yes.
So, for instance, this tells me how many stars, how many a particular skill needs to be to get a star in a frigate expedition. And if I like that and want to have that on my screen, like for a whole session or just for a while, then I can set that to pin window to the game. Is that pinned? And then I can go back to the game. Hope that didn't work. Go back to the game, and it stays on my screen, and I can set the what's the word, the how see-through it is. Can't think of the proper word, but that'll do. Yeah, I can set how see-through it is to transparency. I can set the transparency to exactly where I want it, so I don't have to have it that visible. And unfortunately, there's not an easy way to keep going backwards and forwards. I would have to go back to the overall interface. I don't know if I can. Yeah, you can see it at the bottom.
Axon Ignition says, to bring up Steam overlay, press Shift and Tab.
Yes, sorry, Shift and Tab. It's because I've got a Steam controller and I'm just pressing the Steam button. But yes, you'd normally do Shift Tab to bring up this overlay on Steam. And a lot of, like for instance, this was like when I was keeping a track of whether I'd got all of the Colossal Archive lore. And this was for, I was just tracking some ship modules when I was in a particular save where they were, so I could go and get them later. And then some notes on guilds and what I could get in the guilds. So, and obviously I could make the text bigger. I mean, it's probably quite small on your screen at the moment, but it's perfectly readable on my screen. And so Steam does have this as a really cool addition to the game. And I use it occasionally. I don't use it very often, but I use it occasionally.
Axon Ignition says,
Obviously, if you're not in Steam,
refine a recipe list in my NMS notes.
2717. Let's just get rid of that. And then that was slightly too long, so let me just click on that.
Almonton 1983 says, as a PC player who uses a keyboard /mouse, I always forget this is also a console game. Which would be why we probably won't get a note system in game.
Well, no, I think a note system in game would be really nice. I have requested it in the past. People should just request it if they think they would enjoy the game more if it had one. I don't think they would not have it just because it's available in Steam. For instance, just being able to write the odd note about a discovery we've made would be really nice, just for our own personal use. It doesn't have to be shared in the discovery list, but just to be able to say, okay, that planet, I want to put some notes about it.
Need in game. Steam overlay works on every game.
Yeah, but if you don't have, if you're not playing on Steam, obviously, if you're playing on a console and you want, but I would still like it, even with Steam overlay. I would still really appreciate being able to add notes to anything in game as well, because it's a different interface and it would be really nice. And it goes along with that thing about, would it be nice to have like custom interface? It would be really nice. Like, for instance, the whole thing about the missions at the bottom. We should be able to customize so whether they come up at all as part of the HUDless mode. We should be able to customize things like that. In HUDless mode, what do we want, what don't we want? And then we could make our own version of the HUD that's minimal, but Sean's taking notes right now. He's going to put it all in Cosmos for us. Cosmos, simply a quality of life update.
Sean's taking notes in the Steam note-taking app.
Yes, he is. On his Steam Deck. That's another thing, that it works on Steam Deck. It's not quite as useful. It doesn't always work. You have to have them set up first. I found that I can't make notes in Steam Deck, but I can see my existing notes. I don't know why that is. I'm going to get attacked. I don't want to get attacked. You don't know how I knew I was about to get attacked. That, if the middle of the screen now, that little circle where it says Pharaoh and a distance from a planet. The little circle that is the planet, it has a little indicator that turns around, and when it fills up, then the pirates will scan you. The last thing I want in a permadeath game is to be attacked in deep space, because if you suddenly get 4 enemies and they're tough, then that's really nasty.
Axon Ignition says, but seriously, from that LNF video you made, it seems that Sean is so busy playing LNF that he forgot the emoji drop.
Yeah, and also playing No Man's Sky 2016. He's just too much of a gamer. When you get certain games where the community that play the game say, do the devs even play this game? At least it's reassuring that we know that that Sean does play his game. He doesn't just play the 2016 version.
Says, Sean, I know you're watching the 19th of August, do it.
We should start a meme with the milk glass emoji. that thing that the cowboy emoji. There was a quote from John Wayne. I think it was, "Get off your horse and drink your milk." That would work.
Axon Ignition says, imagine if someone cracked into his Twitter account and dropped an emoji, a red cap. Oh.
Why a red cap? See, that is a nice looking ship. Will it be a B class? That would be a nice little thing. A little tiny thing that would make me really happy. When they're on their actual landing trajectory, being able to scan the ship. It's odd. We can scan them while they're flying around. We can scan them while they're sitting there. As soon as they're like this one, as soon as it's in its landing, this one I probably will be able to scan. As soon as they're in their landing mode, you can't scan them, and this doesn't make any sense. See. Making it sound like we really don't like this game now, aren't we? And aggression isn't one I would have normally gone for a Call of Axe. Friendship. There's a large fighter there. Heavy, I should call it, really. I sometimes think, in terms of challenges, I think of kind of weird challenges, things that go through my head when I'm thinking of challenges, are things like a game where you start the game on a planet and you're an exobiologist and you have to scan all of the creatures, and then you can go to another planet, but with a no ship challenge type thing. So you have, what you do is you have to buy a ship from somebody, and you treat it like you're getting a lift to the next planet, and then you land that ship and you're not allowed to touch it anymore, and then you could possibly part exchange it the next time. You just have to go from one planet to the other, just scanning fauna. And I was just thinking, you have a Xeno Arena element to it as well. Kind of challenges I don't expect hardly anybody would want to play, but I think I would enjoy that kind of thing. But the game doesn't quite support it. Oh, well, there's explorers that were around earlier. There's one.
Ignition says, every 5 warps, you have to beat the system champion.
Well, what about I mean, you should have to beat the system champion in every system before you move on. 2717. I'm almost tempted to just buy a 27. This keeps being offered. And it's like, how long do I want to wait before I get a B-class ship? I've got one... it's in my storage. I've got one expansion. I could make it up to 28.
Axon Ignition says, every system would drive Graph not insane.
C.
Graph Naught says, I think I'd unsubscribe. LOL.
I do not like this challenge. Unsubscribing. Why is my I can't see the... Have I landed? Oh, it's around the back. I'm going to put it up here so I don't have to keep coming down to get it. That's that nice asymmetric, but it's C. 27.7. Mate, shall I just get it? What do you reckon? Shall I just get the next 27? See, that would be nice if it was in B. 32 fighter, a bit faster.
Axon Ignition says, get it.
I'll get the next one. We'll give it a chance to give me a better one. If it doesn't, I'll just buy the next B27. You see. I keep being offered it. It wouldn't be that much of a hit on my space. And hopefully I'll get another freighter soon. Was it about an hour and a half in last time? I can't remember exactly when I got the freighter battle. Probably haven't made enough warps since, but B28, that's a little bit better. And it's symmetrical.
Graph Naught says, the only important ship is the S-Class.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Else is just a placeholder.
That's what I was kind of thinking as I was waiting. I'm going to have to sell that. Or just delete it, I suppose. Negotiate. I do say sell it, don't I? Negotiate price. Exchange.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
Store. So we'll have to sell that. We need to go back to... Put that back in. Put that back in. We need to get some... Some chromatic metal, that's also in my thing, so I'm going to have one. Oh, I've got to take off at least. I feel like if I take too long, it's just going to be me looking for a ship in the entire stream. We're nearly 2 hours in now. So let's go back to my base. Work out what we need to keep in our ship. I might spend that slot to just expand this one a little bit more. So I've got a B-class multi-tool and I've got a B-class starship. So we just need to progress to A-class, which I believe was 80. Does anybody want to correct me if I'm wrong? I believe it was 80 slots. So I'm on 62 at the moment. And we need 8 B-class modules. Now, something I noticed, I can't remember who it was. Who
Nord says 80.
thought so? Thanks. Was it Brian who mentioned that they had done the challenge, that they didn't like the fact that you were encouraged to change the number, your modules straight away? Was it Brian or somebody else? And I was trying to explain in the notes, but I don't know if you read. I don't know how often people read notes.
9772 says yes.
I mean, the starship, it doesn't make any difference anyway, because you can only have what you've got. I'm gonna have to get rid of that actually. Store that. You can only have what you've got. Now I've got a B class, then I'm naturally only going to put new B classes in. I have to buy them anyway. But you don't have to get rid of these. There's no reason that you have to get rid of them. I could put different modules in here. For instance, I could start putting modules for because I have these, I can put those in. There's not a problem. I could also start putting modules in for those. So I could get rid of a couple of these, but I could leave a couple in there if they were perfectly okay. Because the exosuit, the rules are not the same as your starship and your multi-tool. They can be mixed. Same as an exocraft. So you can be a little bit more strategic in what you swap out and what you don't. I want to put that in my... Probably need that. Definitely going to need some chromatic metal. Probably don't need... might need that. I didn't realise I'd put that in there. Oh. Don't need to put these in yet.
Grafnord says, I upgraded all the modules to the next class as well.
I tried to make it clear in the note. Maybe I didn't make it clear enough, but you don't have to do that. I mean, I did say in the note you would be encouraged to, but just by the rules you'd be encouraged to upgrade things. It doesn't mean you have to. So maybe my wording was a bit confusing. Well, one of those is activated. I'm going to sell that. Anything else I need? I suppose I can always come back for the silver. I could probably make use of those and those. And I probably want those in my ship. I think that's everything for now. So that can go in the starship. my oxygen yet. No, I haven't.
Technology recharged.
Have I got anything refining? Yes, I did. I had some ferrite.
Technology
I
recharged.
think I had a little bit more rusted metal. There we go. So, I'm going to go to eggs. I'm going to pick up my oxygen. And I built a teleporter so I can go to a space station and see if I can get some modules. Yes, here I wanted to buy. Probably not. Maybe a bit more phosphorus. Oxygen. Can I get out from here? Extreme storm. Got to keep an eye out for tornadoes. I don't see any tornadoes.
Extreme heat.
I need a better strategy for my sodium. I should probably find a sodium deposit I can put an autonomous mining unit on at some point. Right, I've got absolutely no modules now, so if a pirate activity started, I would definitely go to the anomaly. But it didn't, luckily. I could have just gone, I could have teleported, couldn't I? Why didn't I teleport? I even said I was going to. Let's see what modules are here. Nothing much. There's a Starship Shield module. Definitely want that. We're going to go elsewhere. I will put that in. Why did I?
Technology recharged.
I was going to buy a slot. I might keep an eye out for slots as well. So I'm going to go from systems to system, checking for cool things that we need. Nothing there I need. And some better modules. Pulse engine would be handy. Should I go for a phase beam? Guess it might be handy now.
Received. Product received.
Deliver an item. Let's do that. Let's get a bit more storage. Then we'll be back up to roughly where we were. No, I haven't installed my hyperdrive, which might make it a bit more efficient, so I should do that first. Just gave me range. Haven't got the phase beam installed at the moment, but I will be putting it in a bit. I don't even have it yet. Got to sell that. Right, so deliver's got a nearby system, galaxy map. Be a system I haven't been to before. Should be, yes it is. At least I can get some exosuit upgrades. As we're going along.
Hostile scan detected.
This is not a good time to be in a fight.
Warning. Threat detected. Hostile ships approaching.
I've only got a pea shooter, haven't I? Before I deliver the stuff. What was I doing? I was getting the exosuit slots. Should probably keep an eye out for A-class multi-tools while we're here. That better than mine. Much of a muchness, really. Mine's got better slot layout and another shield module, another phase beam module, a photon cannon module, launch thrusters module. That goes there. Got 6,900 nanites. We're doing alright for nanites. Sell that. sold the wrong thing. Ah. Can't remember which one it was. Which one have I not installed? Possibly the hyperdrive module, wasn't it? Deliver the goods. I haven't got a...
Alphas195 says, this challenge would be the first time I'll be buying upgrade modules at C/B/A class. Usually I don't bother until I have the nanites to get an S class. Axel Ignition says, it was a B class life support.
Okay, that's...
Axel Ignition says, also exotic. Alphas195 says, exotic alert.
Can't see the... I can't buy an exotic. But I didn't spot it. I wasn't paying attention. Could be a could be a first wave exotic if it was when I just landed. Going back to this thing anyway, we could reload and see.
Axel Ignition says, Black Squid. Alphas195 says, yeah, but still you can still shed a few tears over it.
Wouldn't bother me at
Sounds like a
all.
squid possibly.
Wouldn't bother me at all if it was something I couldn't have, unless it was a really, really nice colour squid. Someone online found a pure blue squid that I would have
P8
quite liked to see myself. S-class calamari. Let's see if it comes in.
195 says, calamari diet.
We think alike. Immediately put that in. Because this is also increasing my trade-in value. For those that are not aware how that works.
Grafnaut says, it did sound like a squid. Too loud for a normal exotic.
It hasn't come in yet. If it is. I'd like another hyperdrive module. Pretty sure I bought one and didn't put one in. Thrusters, Starship Shield. Did I just buy C instead of B?
Grafnaut,
Focus.
did you do a reload?
Yes, I did do a reload because I reloaded to see if the if it was a first wave. Nice ball exotic. I'm not exotic. Ball hauler there. Right, let's sell that C class back to them. I'm wasting nanites here.
Axel Ignition says, PH, play some rounds of golf. I mean Xeno battles. That's part of the challenge.
This doesn't have a hyperdrive module here. Let's get another phase boom, because then we've got then we can really whittle down the thing. But I need to go to the anomaly. First of all, to get the slot in the anomaly, but also to get this phase beam. It doesn't look like there's going to be a squid rolling in. Not one out here. Now, I haven't done many warps, but I imagine we've got 3 hours since the last freighter battle, so I might do a few warps just to see if we can provoke that. Probably only done 1 or 2 warps since then. Look, Twitch rewards available. I don't need to know they're available. Especially don't need to know them now that it's already told me once. So I could put a couple of bees in there.
Axon Ignition says, rule number 15, Twitch drops are allowed.
If you could get things from here, Twitch drops, you'd be able to get A-class multi-tools. And that would be cheating. So, it'll be interesting to see if I go from here directly to the space station, whether we can provoke a deeper spawn. Because ships will spawn differently here. Can't see anything spawning though. Nothing spawning. Give it one more reload just in case, and then we'll start warping. Also, I need to install those modules. I should possibly also go and get some modules for my exosuit. Oh, I just went to the anomaly. I could have bought the phase beam. This doesn't even look like there's there's anything spawning here. Back to that thing about one small thing being having space stations that are a bit busier. Right, I'm going to go back to the thing and get the phase beam while we're here. While I remember. Otherwise there's no point even having all of those modules in there. See those little things that pop up in the bottom right? Once they've told us, it would be good if we could, instead of having them at the bottom right, if we scroll them all out of the way, then there could be a place in here somewhere which tells us our recent messages. And we could dismiss ones we don't want, and then we would never have to worry about them again. Oh, I did go there. Phase beam. Starship. Can't get that next to there. What am I doing? Lost track of what I was doing. That was going to go there. That's better. And then I was going to put that there. No, not that there. And what's on its own? That's on its own. So put that there. That can go there. Go there. That's better. Can I build this? I need a solar mirror. I might have one, but I keep an eye out for a solar mirror. Nothing worth doing there. Well, I suppose a warp hypercore, but constructing an outpost is a bit frustrating one. Go, we have a weapon. Right, let's ideally I would like to go back to the other side of the black hole, but I'm not sure which system it was. If I really wanted to take my time and work it out, I could make a put these into wonders and then look at the things. Was it that one? This is another way of working it out, whether or not they're local. So that's local, so it wasn't there. Press the right button. Thank you. Probably wasn't that one. Was it that one? I was sticking to current mission, that's why. Custom waypoint. Yeah, that looks promising. What was its name? It was Ettings Tanish, whatever it was. Ettings. Only reason I want a freighter is because it will make it a lot easier to have storage, and I could use the scanner. Ettings. There it is. Anything good? Exosuit expansion unit. That's nice. Cool. That would have been nice. Doesn't look like I've been here properly. Like that. Not going to do it though. It's not worth it. Because I hadn't checked the exosuit, I might as well check it in here too, and then we'll do some warping from here.
Alphas195 says that alien raises a pertinent questions. Once you reach B class anything, can you downgrade to AC class?
Well, I don't see why you would want to, but I suppose it's not technically against the rules if it's only one step down. I guess. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I never thought of it as being something you would be able to do. When I saw it, I thought, I can't do that. So, I don't know. What do other people think? Should you be able to downgrade?
Graph Naught says, the ship and gun need to be at the same class to upgrade to the next class.
That's true.
Alphas195 says, would a B-class pistol / SMG be better than a C-class alien?
Well, the question really is it worth... is it worth up... I've been here already. But it is... Right, I'm going through here again. Yes, you would need to have 2B to go up to A. But you could theoretically, if you had loads of nanites, you could upgrade your multi-tool, I suppose. Did I specify you had to upgrade via an exchange, or did I say you could? I don't think the rules specify that. Whether you can just upgrade using nanites. I can't see why you couldn't. It's just you'd be using a lot of nanites for no real reason. But I guess if the reason was you really wanted an alien multi-tool. Right, so this is the other side of that black hole. And it doesn't look like I went anywhere after this. So maybe let's rename that as Black Hole Destination 1. No fuel. Only got one of those. That's frustrating.
Technology recharged.
Dense carbon. I got enough to walk. Can't remember. Do black holes stop? I think they do. They stop things spawning.
We can only swap to the next class C to B to a to S using the exchange button as a trade-in.
Yes, I thought that might be how I worded it. So you can't do it anyway. there would be no reason to do it because you would just be scuppering yourself. But it is kind of a trade-in challenge. But so when you warp to a black hole, I think it stops freighters spawning. Am I right? I'm forgetting. Let's do life support. Thermal protection module. So I can put that in separately.
Graph Naught says, I was seeing system freighters in black hole systems.
You were? Okay, maybe no, it's not saying system freighters. I'm saying the freighter battle. I'm not being specific enough. I don't mean it stops freighters spawning completely.
Graph Naught says, I don't know about freighter battles, Thug.
There's no point putting that in yet because I haven't actually got thermal protection in there. But I could put thermal protection in there. I just need some silver and some copper I've got back at base, I believe. I think I've got both of those back at base.
772 says, you won't get a freighter battle in a black hole system or Atlas station system.
That's what I thought, Brian. So yeah, that was my thinking. Probably need the extra space here. I don't, for instance, have the teleport module. I don't want to spend the antimatter on it right now either. Did I just wipe the carbon out by doing that? Oh no, no, it wasn't anything. Confused what happened just then.
Technology recharged.
Doesn't really matter that much. Maybe I had condensed carbon there already. Will spend the antimatter because I've got plenty of condensed carbon coming in.
Technology recharged.
Anomaly. Oh, I should have checked the guild. What? I did spot the guild.
Graph Naught
It's,
says, I wouldn't
trade again.
stock into getting the freighter class you want via a free freighter battle unless you concentrate on T1 economy systems. You don't want to see a or S-class freighter.
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't. I don't think I have even got enough warps yet, but I will start going to smaller, to lower systems, I think. Tis a good point. Oh no, I want to go to the anomaly. Anomaly, 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 anomaly. I'm hoping we'll get the freighter battle spawn before the 3 hours are up.
Alphys195 says. Guild info should be available in the system info in the discoveries tab.
It should. Another small thing that would make me punch the air. And then it would actually make it clearer to newer players that the guild is related to the... Well, it might make it clearer that the guild is related to the region. If you put it next to the region info in the discoveries tab, in the in here, or for that matter in here, that would be the best place for it. Put it stellar region there, and then say region regions guild underneath it. I'm going to put that there so I remember to put it in, and then I'm going to put that there too. Silver and copper. That's a B class. So we've got a B class there. We've got one B class. We need 8, was it? Right, so yes, we're going to start looking. So we'll go to 1-star economies. Right, please be C. I have this theory that you could just about tell by the size of the fleet. And the size of the fleet isn't very big here, so... Because that is actually a stat when you scan the ship. It's not a very well-formed theory. Certainly I haven't done any experimental research. See that coming in the side? That's what I mean by they must be changing. And that one came straight through the edge as well. They must be changing freighters. They must be. Didn't scan. B. Okay, well we are on B, so we can do that. Can we have... Oh, we should be able to just get it, shouldn't we? Spec freighter. I think every other one I've ever had was an A anyway. Right, what have we got in here? We've got nothing. We've got nothing. Oh, that's nice. We start off with the planetary probe. Very nice indeed. Thank you, Luck.
Gravnaut says, jackpot.
Absolutely. Right. We should. The reason I'm taking a while to actually delete things is because I keep forgetting.
6 salvaged frigate modules will buy teleporter and matter beam. Alphas195 says, my luck is I usually have to go through 5 to 7 of them before I get one with a planetary scanner.
I need some more sodium. We've got 2 of these already. That's nice as well. Right, so we've got access to our storage here, which means we've got our copper here. Actually, we don't need to move that out of there, do we? Because we can just do that now. And put that back in storage. I need a better sodium solution. I suppose I could do the nitrogen method of getting sodium. It's a bit frustrating, but what do we have automatically? Cultivation chamber. The galactic trade room, galactic command room. We don't have an awful lot. Doesn't have sodium. I could have deleted one of those. I can build that though. I can also build that. Might as well. Because now we've got carbon on tap. I did have one salvage frigate. I believe. Did I have more than one? I have two. I should also change this to it's not the actual destination, but it doesn't really matter. Black hole destination 2, because it's the furthest we've got through the black hole system. Right, so we really want the teleport chamber. Yes, the teleporter and matter beam I really do want at some point, but I don't nearly need the matter beam straight away. This is more of a place to end up and can I build that straight away? Three antimatter and an amino chamber. Let's pin that. So I can remind myself what I need later. It'll nag me, but it's handy. Right. Put that back in there. Oxygen. Not just leaving it because I really want to remind myself to do this straight away. I really want two containers. I know this one isn't full yet, but it could start getting full quite quickly. Oh, we did have that. What was it we needed it for? We needed it for that, didn't we? And then we need 2 wiring looms. Really want to build that. Amino chamber, amino chamber, amino chamber. Just double check we didn't have one. I don't think I did. While I'm remembering, I want to probably want to make a lot more carbon. Let's see if something still works. There used to be a point where you could actually access freighter just by flying over it. I don't know if they stopped that at some point. There was a like a proximity you could be. There we are. Look, we can access it there. So you don't actually have to land. Let's see if we can buy an amino chamber anywhere. We need more than one. No. No, we haven't been here, have we? Guild was... I'm only ever getting the merchants. It's very strange. I've got one other one that wasn't merchant, and that was the mercenary once. I'm going to upgrade one movement module. Should be able to dismantle that, I think. We've got one wiring loom. What was it I needed the wiring looms for? Is it this? We haven't been to the anomaly here. Oh, what am I doing? Getting ahead of myself. I just mentioned the anomaly. I don't want to start walking. go back to the space station and look for an amino chamber.
Alphas195 says, I gotta go. See.
Cheerio, Alphas. I'm probably going to be wrapping up very shortly anyway. I'm not going to miss a lot at this stage. I'm into 3 hours now, so...
Graph Nord says, Sire Alphas.
Alright, let's see if we're lucky with ships. This was a 1-star economy, so I might not see many ships coming in. I might go to a high. Let's warp to a high. We'll get the modules. Got the modules. Warp to a high. We'll get the exosuit expansion, and then we'll see what ships come in there. So that's a 3. Discovered by Gabriel C. 2107. Once you're on a black hole path, you are quite likely to see other people's... You're more likely to see other people's discoveries. Still in the same region or nearby. On 70. That hasn't rendered in the wings properly. Look, they're not joined up. Oh, it's come in now. Maybe it's a level of detail thing. That ship behind there looks better than mine. Offer to trade. Nope. It's back to 27 again. Actually, I'll have your dioxide. Missed him. Should also check the trade terminal. Which one just came in? I presume they all just came in. This one's about to go though. Probably. And I missed the other trader. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm on 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I might put this one in my X, so suit tech. Silver and copper again. Let me get back to our freighter. Doesn't let me tab though. I wonder if it'll let me grab stuff from. Oops, wrong button. I've drifted too far. Looks like it was. Break and I was pressing the wrong button. Ah! Never mind. I've landed now anyway. I was being a little bit over. Right, copper. Oh, I don't need to actually get it. I can just... There's a pirate. Stay close to the freighter, see what happens. No, he's a single pirate and he's somewhere in the sky. always the temptation to pirate at this stage, if you can find salvage frigate modules, but they're not exactly common anymore.
Grafnord says, "That's how I got my salvaged frigate modules. Pirating matey."
Definitely worth it at the early stage of the game. But I'm not seeing any. Pirate encounters coming in. Let's just see if it's a scan. You never know, it could be a rescue. Maybe it isn't a rescue. Very occasionally, if you've got system freighters around, you can get a rescue freighter, and then you can get rewards from that, of course. If you ever get one that always spawns a rescue freighter, which I have had in the past, hanging around there and getting the rewards from that is always handy. If you don't want to go pirate to get your bulkheads. Right, let's go to one more system. We'll see if we can work towards that. So actually make sure it is. I've got no fuel. Hang on, did I not actually go through the black hole? No, I didn't. So one more there. second bee there. I've got that'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Beard new guild. I just want one Explorers Guild just as a full set. Now it's mercenaries. Guess I've got stuff to give him though. Because I've been shooting pirates. And the ammunition saves me having to make it. Have you got a cold module for me in the right class? Yes, you have. So 3 modules down. And an amino chamber. Excellent. Maybe I should get a couple from him, just in case we need him again for some reason. What else did I need? I needed... Oh, I just need some antimatter, which I should be able to just craft. Near the entrance. Excellent. And what I would normally have is... Oh, I don't have the part yet. I'd normally put a little save point here. But because I don't have a save point, I'll jump in and out of my ship, and then I will finish up the stream. Nice oh, I thought it was a radiant pillar alike, but the nose is different. I do quite like these though.
Grafnord says, thanks for the stream. Good luck.
Thanks for joining me. Thanks for having a chat. Goodbye, everybody. I've been Pharaoh. Travel well and goodbye for now. And I will just quickly comment that I think the green screen behind me has worked quite nicely. So I might invest in a proper green screen at some point. Because I don't mind having my chair in the background. I would like it to be able to move around a bit more. But apart from that, that seems to have worked okay. Anyway, as I say, travel well. Goodbye for now.